This radio program is PG-13. Parents strongly caution some material may be inappropriate for children under the age of 13.
The following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Arizona. Brother Mike is back on the radio. Welcome to Filthy Fridays on HardcoreChristianity.com. You are about to listen to the nastiest Christian radio broadcast in the country. You'll hear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and we don't care who likes it. Thanks for joining the program. Today's Bible study, New Jersey's Tommy Sullivan. A Nightmare on Elm Street. Today on Hardcore. Don't call anybody and tell them the radio program's on today. This one we'll just keep between ourselves. A little bit too dirty, a little bit too nasty for the rest of the general public, the Christian public I'm talking about. This is Brother Mike. I am the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center. We're downtown on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. It's the red brick building. HardcoreChristianity.com is a website. If you go there, you'll see all of our ministry services. We got 2 live services every week, 7 p.m. on Thursdays and Fridays. We have Ladies' Night, Bible study, Tuesday nights at 6:30. 3 Zoom services a week for healing and deliverance, Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sunday evenings. My Sunday morning podcast is at 9 o'clock. Thank you. My silver anniversary is coming up after February. I'll start my silver anniversary, my 25th year on the radio. And I thank you for it. Please remember our monthly Divine Healing Service. It's absolutely amazing. Lots of people healed. You can watch it on youtube.com/House of Healing AZ. The last Friday of every month, we have a healing service at 7 p.m. May God richly bless you. The Nightmare of Tommy Sullivan. He murdered his mother, then committed suicide. But it was a lot more than that, my dear friend. It was a lot more than that. Tommy Sullivan took his place in satanic history along with Ronald Edwin Hunkler. He took his place in satanic history. He was the exorcism that was the foundation for the movie The Exorcist. They switched it over to a girl. But it was actually in 1949, a bunch of Catholic priests did an exorcism on Ron Hunkler. And most of the things that were in the movie were actually true. There was levitation in the deliverance, and there was all kinds of insane things that went on. Of course, in The Exorcist, they embellished everything and added stuff. But Tommy's situation was even worse, believe it or not. And we know from looking at the Word of God that, number 1, Satan is real. Number 2, he affects people's lives. Number 3, he's able to control the whole planet. Number 4, he controls most of the churches in the United States. The Bible has a series of warnings about the devil. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 26. Talks about how people need to recover themselves out of the snare of the devil. The Greek word for snare there is pagis. It means a trap. And it says they are taken captive by him at his will. Once you fall into the trap of the devil, he'll lead you around like he's got a hook in your nose. He can control your life. That's what happened to Tommy Sullivan. That's what happened to Tommy. That's what happened to Ronald. It happens to a lot of people. Trust me, I've seen thousands of them over the years. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 20. Paul's explaining that all these other religions, and you can name any one of them you want, they are not involved with Jehovah, the true God of the universe. They're all involved with fake gods who are actually demons. That's what Paul told the Corinthian church in chapter 10. He said, I say that the things which the nations sacrifice to, they sacrifice to demons and not to God. And I would not that you should have fellowship with demons. For you cannot drink of the cup of the Lord and then drink out of the cup of demons. You cannot be sharers of the Lord's table and then be a sharer of the table of demons. Hebrews chapter 2, verse 14, for as much then as the children are partakers or sharers of the flesh and blood, Jesus also likewise himself took part of the same and became a human being, that through death he might destroy him that had the authority of death, the devil. James chapter 4, verse 7, submit yourselves to God. You must resist the devil, and he will flee from you. The Greek word for resist there is anthistemi. It means to stand against, to stand up against the devil. If you do that, he will flee with you. Guess what happened? Ronald and Tommy didn't do that, did they? Didn't do that, did they? No, they sure didn't. They opened the door to the devil. January 9, 1988. Tommy Sullivan, a perfectly normal kid, raised in a perfectly normal family, a mother and dad, an older brother. Nothing unusual about the family at all. They were all Catholics. And suddenly, Tommy Sullivan developed an interest in the spirit world and an interest in Satan. He studied every book in the library he could about it. He surrendered his life to Satan. He wrote a letter to the devil telling him that he will be happy to be his servant and that he would be happy to kill his own family and that he would be happy to commit suicide and then be taken to hell so he could become a demon and help Satan as a demon. I mean, this is what the kid said, January 9th, 1988. He was in Jefferson Township, New Jersey, and he was a perfectly normal kid, had good grades at school, was a top-notch wrestling champion, a likable guy. Teachers liked him, did great. He went to a Catholic school, and he got interested in the paranormal. And while he was researching Satan and reading all the books he could on him, he became infected with demons, and they took over his mind, and he made a pact with the devil, which means he opened the door to the devil, and the devil came in. And that's exactly what happens to all born-again Christians and all sinners. It doesn't matter if you make a pact with the devil or you open the door, he will come in. Well, Tommy's mother, Betty Ann Sullivan, a very good Catholic. She took the kids to Mass every Sunday. She was 37 years old. She was down in the basement doing the laundry. And Tommy was lifting weights down there. As I said, he was a championship wrestler. And he got up, picked up a 25-pound weight disc, and smashed his mother over the head. He hit her so hard he knocked out her right eyeball. He then took his pocket knife out from the Boy Scouts, about a 4-inch blade, stabbed her multiple times over and over again. She was a pool of blood down in the basement. He ran upstairs. His dad and his brother were sleeping, and he made a ring, a circle, in the living room with a torn-up satanic Bible. He tore the pages out of it and crumpled them up and made a circle in the living room. Had a nice talk with the devil, and then lit the papers so that he could burn down the house and kill his dad and his brother. Okay? Then he ran out of the house into the snow, very cold outside, heavy snow, And his dad and his brother woke up when they heard the fire alarm. So they went downstairs in the living room, put the fire out. The house didn't go up. Tommy then walked down the street, crossed the street about 3 houses down. He crosses the street and goes in the back of the house and takes out his pocket knife, cuts both of his wrists clear to the bone, all the way through. Then took the pocket knife and slit his throat from under the left ear to under the right ear, and it was so bad his head fell backwards, being held on only by the skin. He cut clear through his neck, which was a physical impossibility. He had already slit both of his wrists, and supernaturally, the devil slit his throat, and he was found the following day in the snow. One set of footprints. There was no other attacker or murderer. Tommy Sullivan was killed by Satan. And as that verse says in James chapter 4, if you resist the devil, he will flee from you. If you welcome him in, he will run right to you. Correct? Yeah. Hebrews chapter 2 says the devil has the authority of death. If you give him the authority over your life, he will murder you in cold blood. Cold blood. After that incident happened to that poor town, it was a very small town, by the way. Jefferson Township was a very small New Jersey town. After that, of course, in the ensuing years or so, they found a number of satanic cults all the way from Manhattan, several of them in New Jersey. They saw that Satan was being worshipped, and all of these people have the same thing in common. They're all lusts of the flesh freaks. They love hard acid rock music, Megadeth, Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper's Possessed. All these groups loaded with hard acid rock, hard rock, heavy metal, all satanic. They're all followers of that kind of music, and that's what happened to Tommy Sullivan. That's what happened to Ronald. He got possessed when he didn't resist the devil, and he didn't flee from them. He came to them. Do you need deliverance? 602-636-5800. Are your children, or are you, or a relative of yours acting strangely, like they have another personality living in their head? And you've noticed that there's somebody else there? They can be healed. 602-636-5800. See you next time.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.